I didn't think much about it that night. I was driving home late, tired and half awake, when my GPS suddenly rerouted me. The main road ahead was glowing red with traffic. A new path appeared on the screen, a thin gray line cutting through an area I didn't recognize. It promised to save me 20 minutes. I hesitated for a second, then tapped accept. The city lights faded behind me faster than I expected. Buildings turned into empty lots, and empty lots turned into trees. My headlights carved a narrow tunnel through the darkness. The road was smooth, freshly paved, but there were no street signs, no houses, no other cars, just silence. The GPS voice stayed calm and cheerful, telling me to continue straight for 5 miles. I checked the map zoom. The road I was on didn't even have a name. It was just a pale thread floating in a blank space. I told myself it was a new development. Maybe the map hadn't updated yet. Then my signal bars vanished, no service, no data. But the GPS kept working. A strange pressure settled in my chest. I turned on the radio for comfort, but all I got was static, a low hiss that seemed to fill the car. I switched it off. The silence that followed felt heavier than before. Up ahead, the fog began to thicken. It rolled across the road like slow smoke, swallowing my headlights. I eased my foot off the gas. The GPS chimed again. In 1 mile, you will arrive at your destination. My destination? I frowned. I hadn't entered a destination. I was just going home. I glanced at the screen. The label at the top no longer showed my address. Instead, there was a single word, arrival. My mouth went dry. I tried to cancel the route, but the screen froze. The buttons didn't respond. The gray line kept pulling me forward, straight into the fog. Shapes started to form at the edges of the road. At first I thought they were trees, but they were too close, too still. Tall, narrow silhouettes standing in uneven rows, like people watching from the darkness. I blinked hard and focused on the asphalt. Don't look at them, I told myself, just keep driving. The air inside the car felt colder, my breath fogged faintly in front of me. The GPS voice spoke again, softer this time. You have arrived. The car rolled to a gentle stop. The fog parted just enough to reveal a small clearing. In the center stood an old gas station, the kind you see in forgotten towns. Its lights flickered weakly, buzzing like dying insects. The sign above it was blank, the letters long gone. I didn't remember this place. It definitely wasn't on any route I'd ever taken. For a moment, nothing moved, then the station door creaked open. A figure stepped out. I couldn't see their face. The light behind them turned them into a dark outline. They stood there, perfectly still, as if waiting for me to do something. My hands tightened on the steering wheel. The GPS screen changed again. A live camera feed appeared. It was showing the clearing from above, my car parked in front of the station. The angle was impossible, like a drone hovering silently in the fog. I stared at the tiny image of my car, and then I saw it. Someone was standing directly behind my vehicle. My heart slammed against my ribs. I whipped my head toward the rearview mirror. Nothing. The road behind me was empty. I looked back at the screen. The figure was still there, inches from my trunk. Slowly, it began to tilt its head as if it knew I was watching. A cold wave crawled up my spine. I didn't think anymore. I slammed the car into reverse and hit the gas. The tires screamed against the pavement as I sped backward through the fog. The GPS started talking rapidly, its voice glitching and overlapping. Recalculating, recalculating, recalculating. The screen flickered between maps and camera angles. Each time the overhead view returned, the figure was closer to the driver's door. I could almost feel it outside, pacing me. The fog thickened until the world disappeared. I drove blindly, guided only by panic. Then, as suddenly as it had begun, the fog broke. Streetlights flashed past. Familiar buildings rose on either side. My signal bars returned. The GPS screen went black, then rebooted to its normal home display. I pulled over, shaking, and checked the map. There was no gray road, no clearing, no gas station. Just the main highway I'd been on all along. I laughed weakly, telling myself it was exhaustion. A hallucination, my phone overheating, anything that made sense. When I finally reached home, I rushed inside and locked the door behind me. I didn't sleep much that night. The next morning, I opened my GPS history, half expecting it to be empty. There was a single saved trip, no start point, no end point. Just a thumbnail image. I tapped it, the overhead camera view filled my screen again. My car sat in the foggy clearing in front of the gas station. The image was perfectly still, like a photograph. Except for one detail I hadn't noticed before. The driver's door was open, and someone was sitting in my seat. The gray line didn't stop drawing. It moved slowly across the map, like it was thinking, choosing a path. Street by street, it traced a route out of my neighborhood. My address pulsed at the starting point, blinking like a heartbeat. I tried to close the app. It wouldn't respond. Then the GPS voice whispered, not from my phone, but from somewhere inside the car outside. Continue to destination. I froze. Through the window, my headlights flickered on by themselves. The engine turned over with a low growl, even though my keys were in my hand. The steering wheel inside the car began to move, inch by inch, correcting itself, aligning with the road, like it was preparing to leave. My phone vibrated one last time. A notification filled the screen, estimated arrival 6 minutes. I don't know where it thinks I'm going, but the route is still active and the car is waiting.